So growing up, almost every single week during the NFL season, I would sit there with my dad every Sunday and watch a couple of games. That was back when massive hits were actually still encouraged. I remember back then my dad had this VHS tape and the entire thing was just highlights of people getting laid out on the football field. That was back when it was a man's game of brute strength and pure CTE. And one of the prominent quarterbacks during this time was no other than Green Bay's Brett Favre. This guy played for 20 years, including a couple of fake retirements, before he decided to hang up his cleats once and for all. During this time, he started a record-breaking 297 games in a row, making him quite literally the most durable quarterback of all time. I mean, that is an insane stat for a QB. He was truly like Iron Man out there on that football field. He didn't care if he had 2 concussions, a broken thumb, and a torn ACL. He was gonna go out there and spin that rock. Even finding time to play some backyard football in his little Wrangler jeans.
Woolen jeans that last. I'm comfortable in Wrangler. Real comfortable.
You know, that clip is almost just too perfect because that's exactly how this dude played, like he was in the backyard slinging it. He just went out there and threw that fucking pigskin as many times as humanly possible. In his legendary career, Favre was the first quarterback to throw for 70,000 yards, complete 6,000 passes, throw for 500 touchdowns, and lead his team to 200 wins. He won a Super Bowl, he won the MVP of the league for 3 years straight, and even still has the record for the longest touchdown pass till this day, as well as the most interceptions with 336 picks. Still, it's safe to say that he accomplished just about everything that he could hope for, and always played the game his way. He finally hung up the cleats in 2010, and that was kinda when the real clouds started to form around this man and his reputation. Because while on the field he was a football legend, off the field he has been the subject of much controversy. Of course, there was the time in early 2010 when Brett was caught sending pictures of his piece to then game day host for the New York Jets, Jen Strieger, 2 years earlier when he was playing in their organization.
Hey Brett, there's a internet report today that accuses you of sending some inappropriate text messages to a female employee of the Jets during your year there. Would you care to respond to those allegations?
Yeah, you know, I mean, no. I mean, I'm not getting into that. I got my hands full with the Jets.
This was major news at the time, as this was long before D-Pics had become so mainstream. In the end, this resulted in a fine of $50,000 for Brett after he failed to cooperate with the investigation. There was also that time in 2013 when he settled out of court with 2 massage therapists who alleged that he was also sending them inappropriate text messages as well. You know, basically he was on that Deshaun Watson time. After this incident, he did keep it quiet for a while, except of course when he would poke his head out to shit on his successor of the Cheesehead Nation, Aaron Rodgers. Or of course he also came out of hiding to ride Trump like a damn ATV. But now information is coming out about Favre that makes him look like the lowest of the low. I mean, he's down there lower than a cricket's ass, because he was caught allegedly stealing from people who have nothing. You see, in this country there was something called government assistance. Most of you have probably heard of welfare. Welfare is a type of government support intended to ensure that members of society can meet their basic human needs, like having food, having water, and having a roof over their head. Well, basically, based on these text messages, people are now alleging that Brett Favre, with the help of former Mississippi Governor Phil Bryant, conspired to steal millions of dollars from this welfare fund and use the money to build a volleyball stadium at the University of Southern Mississippi, where coincidentally his daughter played on their volleyball team. In the text from 2017, Favre allegedly says, "If you were to pay me, is there any way the media can find out where it came from and how much? No, we never have that information publicized. I understand being uneasy about that though. Let's see what happens on Monday with the conversation with some of the folks at Southern. Maybe it will click with them, hopefully." And then the next day she goes on to explain that the deal had been done, much to the pleasure of Brett Favre. Keep in mind, this is a man worth an estimated $100 million himself, taking money that taxpayers paid from some of the most impoverished people in this country. He did this with the help of the governor, like I said, and this woman named Nancy knew who he had been texting. She was the founder of a non-profit responsible for allocating welfare funds outside of the public view, and it's now come out that the state of Mississippi misspent over $77 million in welfare funds during this time. So Brett Favre was really just one of many assholes in this grand operation. And at this time, she is the one taking the majority of the legal brunt in this whole matter, as she has now pled guilty to 13 felony counts related to this investigation. This all, of course, while Favre has yet to be charged, though now that this story has picked up a lot more traction, and these text messages have been released to the public, many people are now up in arms over this robbery. Personally, I think he's a real piece of shit if he did help orchestrate this money away from these people in need. There is quite a bit of evidence to suggest that he knew the entire time what was going on, and he was obviously even concerned about what he was doing becoming public information. Rich douchebags taking money from people who actually need it for basic necessities. It's really just a story as old as time, because this has been happening every single day all around the country for decades. As a matter of fact, to add insult to injury, Mississippi has the highest rate of poverty in this country, so I really hope in this case that Brett Favre does do some time for this fraud. I find it ridiculous that the media has not really been covering this story, but y'all let me know what you guys think about this situation down below. Do y'all remember when Brett Favre was up there on that podium crying about retiring? Came back 2 weeks later like, psych? Will this man have his longest yard moments? We will see. As always, I do want to thank you guys for watching today's video, dropping a like, and making sure you subscribe. But as you guys know, it's been your boy the Tan Superman, and some other frauds out here need to be covered, so I'm out. Peace!